I like it. We let the love wash over us, and we let it be. We let the love wash over us. And we let it be. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Soul Fulfilling Songs and Conversations. Yeah, we got Marion Lewis in the house. Welcome on in, Meg Tahar, John Caesar, Chef Lori, Brother Yaveen, God bless you. Brother Ryan Nilsson, God bless you. Blessings to everyone signing in today on this beautiful day, this summer's day. It's still summer, even though Labor Day is gone. We let the joy wash over us, and we let it be. Frank Arthur Williams, welcome. Yeah, it's still early and people are coming on into the room. We have a special guest with us this evening. She's a bad sister. A queen mother, some people would call her. Yeah, you're going to really be inspired by this being. And she's cute. All the way from Sanford, Goldsboro, Florida. She blazed a trail across America all the way to Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, and on up to the Pacific Northwest, to Seattle, and making the headlines up there. This sister know how to make some noise, okay? She don't just sit back and watch it happen. She allows the love to guide her and show her just what to do. So the name of that ministry at one point was Mothers Against Police Brutality, right, Reverend? And then you change it to Mothers for Police Accountability, right? All right, let's let you in, and then everybody can hear you talking to me. Welcome into the room, Reverend Harriett G. Walden. Woo!
Thank you so much, Rickie.
Yeah.
I just so admire you.
Yeah. Well, I admire you too, because, you know, I have these songs, and these songs are about the Spirit of God moving inside of us.
Yes.
You know, and when the Spirit moves, it's very dynamic. It's
Yes.
not. It's not laid back. It's very dynamic, and it
Yes.
stirs us, and it
Mm-hmm.
it it, it helps us. It changes and shapes and guides us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if we're not allowing the Spirit to shape and guide us, then we need to talk to Reverend Harriet, and she'll show you how to etch a groove in your subconscious mind through some repetitious journaling and using these cards and reading the Bible and get yourself together so that you can have a good incarnation, bringing good right where you are. And everybody on this thread, these people, they are about they are about living a full life, a wonderful life. And so I can't think of a better person to have on Soul Fulfilling with me this evening than Reverend Harriet G. Walden. Welcome, Reverend Harriet.
Oh, thank you so
Excuse
much,
me,
Ricky. Yes.
Ricky, adjust so we see more of your body,
Oh,
please.
you
Okay.
want you,
Yes,
you
I
guys want
can.
There,
you guys want to see
fabulous.
my stunning bust line?
Yeah, yeah.
I look like a big head. Yeah, but it's like my computer is interesting. So let's see if I can do it this way.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, is that good? Is that better? Hopefully, that's good. So I want to read about you, Reverend Harriet, for just a
Okay.
moment. I
All
said,
right.
Reverend Harriet Walden,
Mm-hmm.
our guest for this evening's Soul Fulfilling Songs and Conversations, is actually in today's headlines of the Seattle Medium as the most influential person for police accountability. The most influential person for police accountability. I can stop right there. She's learned to rest in God no matter what. She is a mother, community activist, minister, and author who wears many hats and can attest to what power there is in learning to calm the anxious mind, even amid protests and changing paradigms. She has led many empowering initiatives and currently is a master.
Hello, Moto.
That's your phone.
That's your phone.
Yeah.
Currently is a master facilitator for the Virtues Project and creator of the Virtues Healing Reflection Cards. Join us tonight for Soul Fulfilling Songs and Conversations and enjoy two trailblazers from the South who share and sing the language of love. So tell us about what and how the Spirit moved you in the ways that it has. You can start anywhere you want to. You've done so many things. And we can end up with the Virtues Healing Reflection Cards. I don't want to
Okay.
start there.
Okay.
I want to end here. Is that all
Okay.
right?
That's fine. I mean, I have an interesting story. In fact, September, it's an interesting month for me. I had three mamas in my life. I mean,
Three
that's my
mamas.
interesting. So, I mean, my mother died when I was 2 years old. She was also born in September. My grandmother who raised me, she was born in September in 1889.
Ooh,
Uh, she raised me after my mother died, and then I had my stepmother, who was my longest mother, and she passed away in 21. And I think September kind of sums it up for me. I mean, we've had three mamas, and I now know what it's like to be on the planet without a mother, because I've had one from the time I was born up until the 21, so 3 years ago. So yeah, so that's where I started. Um, and of course, I was raised in segregation in an all-black township called Goldsboro, one of the oldest in America. That it was disbanded, but it was still at segregation. All my teachers was taught by the late great Mary McLeod Bethune, and of course, I never had a Caucasian teacher in my life, and so I was set on a journey to be a bit of, raised in the South. You were raised to be a benefit to be a benefit to your race, to be a credit to your race.
that's right. That's
That's
right.
what
You
we
did
were
it for the
raised
race.
to. Be a credit to your race and don't bring no shame on your family.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hold on just a second, Reverend, I wanted to clarify a few things that people might not understand. So when we talk about Golds, do you call it Stanford or Sanford?
Goldsboro, the town is Sanford, but Goldsboro was a part that was annexed into Sanford against its own will in 1929. But it was started as an all-black township in 1892.
Okay, all righty. And so
Mhm.
when you say you were raised in a segregated town, um, uh, I was kind of like that too. Only
Yeah,
Charlotte was an integrated town, but it was segregated in the school
right,
systems. You know, it's like
right,
it was segregated in the movies. It was
right,
segregated in the restaurants. You know,
right,
so
right.
there
That's right.
there were all kinds. There were Caucasian people in the town that I so the person who owned the grocery store down the street was a white man, you know,
Right,
and we were allowed to go in and shop, and
right,
even my brother even worked at the store sometimes at a little side job, you know. And in Charlotte, though, the vibe between, at least from my child's point of view, because I was a kid, and my mother and our parents protected us from a lot of the cruelty that others might have seen. But in Charlotte, I don't have that many indications of some of the horrible things that would happen. Except I did have a very one of my little neighbors was killed while he was in jail for one night, and that was stunning, and that woke up everybody. And because that never goes away, you always remember your friends
right.
and how things happened. But but in Florida, it was a different situation. And you talk in your on your if you go to harrietgweldon.com, you can find a lot about her story at her website. And I invite everybody to go and read about her, because she's got a powerful story, and we don't have time to visit all of it, but we can touch on different parts. But what I was looking at was that about your uncle Clark, Rufus Clark.
Oh yes, yes, my grandfather, Rufus Clark.
Yeah,
Yes,
and yeah,
yeah.
talk about brother Rufus, because and your grandmother who carried a rifle and didn't take no stuff.
All right, I'm trying to find myself again here. If you can hear me, I'll just keep talking.
We can hear you.
Uh, okay. Well, my grandmother was born in 1889, and when she was 10 years old, uh, there was a there was an altercation going on, and a whole bunch of stuff was going on. And her father went down to take care of it, and he took his rifle with him. He took his gun with him, and he absolutely at that time he encountered a man who had kind of said some horrible words to his wife, which would be my great grandmother, and he just beat him up. I mean, it was a fight, and the man's mother begged for his life. My grandmother said that they waited for the Klan to come all night, but no Klan members came.
Mhm.
And so that was a story. I'm looking at him right now. I have a picture of Rufus Clark. I carry it with me. I mean, it's one of those big round pictures if you come out of the South that you see.
Yeah.
And it's at least over 100 years old, of course, more than that.
Can we see
And
it?
huh?
Can you?
I don't know how to get you to see it, but
Oh,
I
okay,
don't.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay, but I'm sorry, I just don't
That's
have that
okay.
that
That's okay.
knowledge how to do this. But anyway, my grandmother told that story to all my friends. I mean, I was always so ashamed. She always got up and showed how her daddy would did it, and how she was never afraid, and and how they had guns and stuff. And so my grandfather worked on the railroad, and though he married my grandmother in the 1920s. Her first husband, she was married. Her first husband, he got killed by some people, and I mean, so in those days, I'd say he got lynched, and so eventually she married my grandfather. In Sanford, she moved from Columbia County up from Lake City down to Columbia County, Sanford, and she married my grandfather. And
Mm-hmm.
um, and sometimes he would be out on the train because he worked for the Atlantic Coast Line, and she had guns, and I was raised with guns in the house. So if anybody came to her house, she said she was not going to be afraid. But the one thing that my grandmother taught me was not to hate white people. That's the greatest gift she gave me.
Mm-hmm.
She told me if they knew better, they'd do better.
Mm-hmm.
and she told me not to live a life of hatred. And that's one of the best gifts my grandmother taught me.
Yeah.
The other gift my grandmother taught me was that we had cousins. My grandfather was the cousin. I was the uncle to all the Waldens almost in Florida, and so there was we had family out, and you had to get to them going through the black cemetery. And the one thing that my grandmother always showed me about life, she showed me the one thing that has stayed with me all my life is that there were short graves and long graves. And my grandmother taught me that all people didn't come to stay the same length of time. She told me that children pass, and some people didn't always make it to live to be an old life, and that has carried me all my life. She taught me the ministry of presence to go be with people when somebody passed away. You know how it is down south. You go sit with people, and I carry that ministry with me. You don't go to talk, you just go to listen and to be with people. And so those are things I got out of my raising. And I got out of my raising that everywhere I went, somebody wanted me to do good. Somebody would challenge me how to spell.
Yes.
How to spell. Can you spell Mississippi? Whatever. And what's 5 times 5? 25.
Yeah.
So sometimes I go to the bank, I just get $5 bills so I can remember how to say 5 times 5. It's 25. But when I went to my 30th class reunion, my neighbor told me, she said, baby, I never thought I'd see you this side of heaven. She said, I've been praying for you for 30 years. Can you imagine every time I fell down, I couldn't do nothing to get back up? All that rubber, all prayers. 30 years. And I came back in Seattle and started the Year of Prayer for Children. We did that project for a long time with the Church Council of Greater Seattle. We circulated prayers around the country in a calendar, and we had artwork for children. And we had at those days, it didn't have all the technology. I wanted to be able to have a website where children in the world, like RIGASA right now, that you could go to that website and you could see all the places in the world where children needed help. And if you couldn't do anything for them every day, you could pray. And I had prayer commitment sheets. So people can make a prayer commitment every day to pray for children. And then we had some prayer commitments that we have prayer breakfast here and other places. And so I spent my life just doing what a Southern woman is trained to do.
Listen,
It's our training.
hey, Rev, you can just roll on. I ain't asking no questions tonight. Because it's so interesting because it is a Southern training, and you're just making me think of when I was coming up, and they would always ask you questions, that you challenge your capacity, and I was such a show off that I love for them to ask me questions because I knew the answers, and they go like, do this, do that, and then we'd break into a song, my sisters and I, because we could sing. And we had a singing group and with harmony and that kind of thing. But we just wanted to make the family proud. And we wanted to make the family proud. That was part of our upbringing. And you're right. Yes. It was like you did what you did for the good of the race.
That's right.
It was not for you. It wasn't a personal good. It didn't become personal good until integration.
That's exactly right. I mean, and then we gave up a lot to integrate. As one of my sons he did a video about baseball. We gave up the only sport we ever owned to integrate. Because in segregation, you had to have black castic makers, like flower shops. We had an economy in some places. I mean, all segregation was not equal. I mean, and I'm not saying that, but we did own baseball, and all the places that had a baseball team had to have their own stadium. Had to have everybody black to cook for them or whatever they were doing. And so we lost all of that. And so we've had a generation of young people that grew up, they don't even know the capabilities that we've had.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have not been able to see that demonstrated, and then so we've got so much going for ourselves that our kids will never have to pick up a gun. I mean, really. I mean, all of this is social engineering.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I didn't grow up with people harming one another.
Yeah, I know. Right. Same here. Yeah.
And my grandmother she didn't believe in television, so I never had one.
Yeah. Well, I don't have one now. But I really don't. I don't have a television now.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch television.
Yeah.
I don't need television. Television
Right.
was, I
Yeah.
want to get into the media because a lot of people
Yeah.
do watch TV. It fills their lonely time, and they find a lot of good acting and storytelling and different things. But I'd rather hear your stories, and I'd rather sit with people like you're
Oh yeah.
saying. I'd rather sing, and we, like you were saying, you have some short caskets and some long caskets. That was brilliant. Like we don't
Yeah.
all come here. Some people come here for a short time. Some get a long line. But
That's right.
everybody gets one, and
That's right.
everybody gets to determine now. See, in the old days, it was almost like a group determination. It was like much of what was done was determined by the group, unless you had a real wild artist. And there were a lot of wild artists that went on to do their own thing. But before they did that, though, they came up through the church and
That's right.
learned, or their high school or their teachers, and then they went on to
Hmm. Yeah.
learn some ways that weren't so good out in the world, but they brought a lot of incredible music there,
That's right.
and just kind of expanded everything. It just feels like when the circle happens, Rev, when the circle happens, it goes wider, and so
Yes.
it's going to be different than it was.
Right.
When you were a little girl, when I was a little girl, it's going to go wider, and because I really believe that all really does fade into God. I feel that God is everywhere present, and
Yes.
that God is the true creative source of all. And so what I'm seeing in children now, and I had this conversation on Sunday with an elder who was I want to say hell bent, but he's bent on waking up these younger people so that they know this, and that they know what people went through, and that they know that we need to be changing things, and they know, and I'm going like, but there's got to be a window for us to listen to what they know
Right.
and have them invited in so that we can learn, because they're coming with gifts. Like the song says, they'll learn much more than we'll ever know. These little babies that are coming in now, Rev, they're brilliant.
Oh yeah.
They're coming for a different time, for a
Right.
different reason,
That's
in a
right.
different way.
Right.
And it's so drenched in loving that it sometimes it makes me cry, because they can love way easier without all that stress of the past, or a present suffering that is often passed on by the elder,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so when I look at the way you came through it all, and I see that you've done, I mean, you have the mothers for police accountability.
That's right.
You had the what's the name of the card, the regenerative journaling,
Oh yeah. Repetition journaling, how to create a new groove in your subconscious mind.
because you're a metaphysician. I mean, you're licensed and ordained. The revolutionary. She's a evolutionary revolutionary. She's evolved, and she's revolving. She all of it, and she gets it done. You get it done. How do you move from that to being an ordained minister, from the activism to how did you move into the ministry?
Well, I showed up at Unity in 1979, and I never looked back.
Hey.
It's what I did. I raised my children in New Thought,
Hmm.
and it was different. But at that time, I was looking for a conscious change, and I wanted to. I needed to grow up in a different way.
Hmm.
And I just showed up at Unity. I don't know how I got there. And all I know is I got there, and I stayed there, and I raised all my children there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I liked about it, I like the meditation in the service. I mean, because they always do a meditation. But I also like that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well.
Yeah.
And we came to believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, and we recognized that it was all about love, and about the practical Christianity was about love and proven that you could be healed by using these principles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that so I was raised AME Methodist. I mean, I was raised in going to watch night, and I love the AME church. When I took my kids there, and I found a home at Unity. I was still a volunteer. Somebody that came to the Unity movement, that came to Seattle, I was there as a volunteer. I saw them all. It's not the same church now, nothing is, but Unity was a satellite, was a place where everybody came to. Marianne Williamson came in many times. I met her many times. I mean, everybody that was somebody that was on the scene then was involved there, and came through Unity at that time. And I went back to school at age 35 with 4 little kids, and it was more than a notion.
Mm-hmm.
With 4 kids, and I needed to find a way to be able to expand my consciousness, to be able to figure out what was I going to do in life. I had no family here. I mean, I'm an only child, so I had no family here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was decided that I was going to stay in Seattle and be a success. I had moved. We had moved quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
My former husband, the late Mr. Salisbury, had finished Brooks Institute, and we came up here to start a new life. And after we were no longer married, I stayed, and I started a new life, and I had to raise myself up. When a woman comes into her own power, becomes her own voice and her own authority, then she changes. I mean, you get to breathe.
What you talking about, Rev? You absolutely right. The whole line went amen.
I mean, that's a shift when you understand that. Number one, you got to provide for people. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, little people. They
Mm-hmm.
were my greatest motivator, by the way. I mean, your children get you up in the morning because you get up for them. You
Yes.
don't get up for yourself. I mean, why do you get up for yourself?
Yes.
You get up for
Yes.
your children.
Yes.
And for me, what does it do to gain the world and lose the soul?
Mm-hmm.
The soul of my life was my children, and it still is.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
this other stuff can go away, but I mean, that's all the work I've done. It was to make life better for children, and not only my children, because I started this organization after the police had beat my kids up 34 years ago. I never thought I'd still be doing it, but I'm here, and
You're
you
here and
know,
you're in the headlines. So tell me about the work of the organization of the mothers that are for police accountability.
well, we started out in 1990, a long time ago. I mean, if I had had a baby, the child would be 34, but so as mothers, we measure things by babies and years. So after that event, I started an organization called Mothers Against Police Harassment, because that's what was going on. They were
Mm-hmm.
making young people get out of the car, putting guns to the head, and put on the ground, guns to the head, and my
Mm-hmm.
kids got roughed up. 2 of them did. And of course, um, I started an organization because I believe that somebody needed to speak up for children who was being beat up and not wasn't doing anything. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't have to be doing anything, but just be
No.
black.
Denise Davison, who's a wonderful yoga instructor and therapist, and just a community activist, also, she's on the thread right now, and that something very similar happened to her son. Beautiful young man, just coming back from the store, just bought his organic vegetables and fruits, and next thing he's been roughed up and beat up by the police.
Oh yeah, I
And
mean, it happened
this
so
I'm
quickly.
talking about just 3 months ago
Wow.
in Los Angeles, in Silver
Yeah.
Lake.
Yeah.
So it happens. Oh yeah, it still happens.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
I mean, because our children are in danger from more than one source. I mean, they can go to the store and not come home. I mean,
Hmm.
also you have the police that's what I was fighting. But also we have violence in our community.
Hmm.
And so I started this organization with 5 women, and women that I knew. And in 1976, we changed the name to Mothers Police Accountability, because we were getting calls from ex-girlfriends of police officers and other kinds of things that looked like it was accountability. And we've stayed in the game. I mean, we've grown up doing this work, and
Hmm.
most of my time has been spent doing something else I'm on the I've been appointed to the community police commission, and so my time is just rounding up. And we have an annual breakfast every year. It's called the Paul Robeson. Not Paul Robeson, the Thurgood Marshall Justice Breakfast, because he was our greatest man. He loved us. If you read about Paul, if you read about Thurgood Marshall, the Devil in the Grove, and some of those, you see how much he loved us. He loved us. He did so much to make life better for us, And I advise anyone, if you haven't read The Devil in the Grove or anything about Thurgood Marshall, just read what he's done for us.
Yeah, there was a movie that Chadwick Boseman did called Marshall.
Right.
I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, right.
But I saw part of it. I gotta go see it again. But, I know the director's wife. She's a little activist too. But Thurgood Marshall. I remember. He was a big deal just coming up when he became a Supreme Court justice.
But he had so much love for us. I mean, just like Ossie Davis talked about, talking about the love that Malcolm X had for Black people. I mean, there's a certain kind of love that people just, you can feel that they just love you. I mean, and that's what I feel about you, Rickie. I mean, you just have so much love for people. But
man, I love people, man. Yeah, and coming from a segregated South,
yes,
life is different. Like your orientation is totally different, especially if you came up through an all-Black school system.
Yes, right.
Which I did, and my teachers. Right. I went to an integrated school for 2.5 months, and a scene happened there that I just was not going to stomach, and there was no way that I could see that I was going to be happy at that school. And I asked my mom, "Can I go to the Black high school, please?" Well, and I didn't say the Black high school. I said Second Ward High because my sisters were going there. I'm from a big family. I have 7 sisters and brothers plus 3 other two other brothers and a sister that were cousins. When my mother's sister died, she took their kids. But man, they'd come back from school and they'd be jamming. They would, we like the marching band, and I was a musical kid, and I just loved to be in the energy of friendship. And the school that I went to wasn't that. And I didn't feel like it was my job to convince people to love me.
That's right.
I tried though. I gave it a good try. I went out for cheerleader. I did everything I could. I did get some solos in the choir, but it was like, and in those days you would be prepped for it, like, because your teachers wanted you to do well. Like, and when I went to the high school, it was just being integrated, and they would just dial into you because they wanted you to do well. And I see that now, but not with a colored thing. I see it when people love people, when they truly love people, not white people or Black people. When they love people, they just want to help. They want to nurture. They want to encourage you to continue in what it is that you love, and they will support and stand by you. And that's a whole new thing. That happened back in the day too, but you didn't. But it was happening under the cover, because there was so much that you couldn't show on the surface. You had to be very careful in the South about engaging, with other races.
That's right.
Beforehand, and even now you do. You still have to. It's just like it's just not as bad. The violence isn't as bad, but it's been blatant. It's been blatantly hard. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So what I love about your work is that with all that you're saying and all that you know about growing up strong and a powerful African American and the ways that we love and encourage each other, that your work has come in a full circle kind of way with love of everybody. Like, you cannot be in a unity church and not learn to love white people. Because there are more white people there than you.
That's right.
I mean, even though, and when I'm talking about this, it's like, it's not that you would have had a problem loving white people. I'm not saying that. Your grandmother taught you how to love everybody. She taught you how not to hate.
Right.
She taught you how not to hate people because of the color of their skin. But, life will teach us how to love people. At least that's what I see, And what I found was that I still had a little something on my shoulder that was just like, well, I want my family, that was leaning toward wanting to have a family that looked like this color, and I felt like that was all right because Black people's families had been all torn apart and everything, that we had a right to say whatever it was we want our families to look like, as much as a white family would go like, well, but if a white family says, I don't want Black kids, that sounds like a racist. But if a Black person says, I don't want white kids, white people in my family, then that doesn't sound racist. But at the end of the day, it's all a certain kind of hurt and confusion around color as a definition of something. So you know what God did to me? God gave me a grandbaby, the first grandbaby that came from left field. And she came in through the body of a Caucasian woman. And my son, who was very young, who's like 19, 20. And so it was like wake up call, because I was like, what? And my daughter, it was my daughter that said, now it's when we learn to love. Now is when we have to love.
Talking about that kind of love makes me think about my Hiram. He's in spirit, and he always wants to come through. He's my oldest, and he's in spirit. He passed in 2005. One of the things he told me, and he challenged me on, was same-sex adoption of children. Mm-hmm. And sometimes your children are your greatest teacher, and that's why I guess you have them. But Hiram.
Is that why we have them? So we need to be taught, yeah.
So it got to be whipped. We got to be whipped up in the shape.
Well, I got whipped up, and I'm so glad because I love my grandbaby. She's beautiful. She's smart. She looks like me. She's just lighter, but she's so smart and wonderful, and she knows who she is. She knows. She lives in Florida and trying to get back to LA. She's trying to get back to LA. But what I learned was that, it's like the songs that I'd been written, I was writing, I had to prove.
Yes. That's what life will do for you, because Hiram said, he was talking about children being adopted. And I said, well, the jury's still out. I don't know if it works or not. And he says, Mama, he said, shame on you. He said, how can you say that? Would you rather children be in a foster home, or would they be in a home where they have two loving parents? Mm-hmm. He had to straighten me out.
Yeah, he straightened you out.
He did.
Yeah.
He said it's better for them to be in a loving home, Mama.
Yeah.
And he said he was surprised at me. I said, oh, well, I guess I'm surprised at me.
Well, believe me, I get some little looks around here from my kids. They go like, Mama, Rickie. I was like, you know what? Thank you. Because, and I'm surrounded, listen, and the choir, the agape choir was so great. Oh, I want to sing a song, a little bit of this song, Reverend Harriet.
Sure,
but we got to get, okay, so y'all keep me abreast of the time because we got to talk about these cards. Okay, so the name of this song is Our Loving Will Change the World.
Yes.
And it's love everybody. Not just the Black people, not just the white people if you're white. Not just Italian if you're Italian. Well, if you're Italian, you got a lot of Black in you. You just don't know. But love everybody. Love when it's hard to love. Love. Our loving will change the world. And when I'm talking about the Italians, I'm talking about everything comes from the original. The original people are Black people. So everybody is of us, whether they know it or not. But we are not even of us. We are of God. We're all of God. That we didn't make ourselves. God did. And man, the sooner we get to celebrating the beauty that God is as our life. Wow. If we got a short casket, at least we could say we had a good time while we were here. We weren't suffering the whole time. Goes like this. Love, love. Let me give myself some lipstick over here. So it's love. Oh, that's too much lipstick. Okay. Love, love, love. Everybody love, love, love. When it's hard to love, love. Our loving will change the world. Love, love, love. Everybody love, love, love. When it's hard to love, love. Our loving will change the world. Sing, sing, sing all together. Sing, sing, sing when it's hard to sing. Sing, our singing will change the world. Oh, share, share, share who you are and share, share, share when it's hard to share. Share, our sharing will change the world. Ooh. Ain't that right, Brad? Oh, care, care, care for each other. Care, care, care when it's for the ones who need care. Our caring will change the world. I'm gonna sing that one again because we got people who are caring for each other, taking care of their parents, taking care of their children who need them right now. A lot of folks going through a hard time, because they're here to learn some things. And sometimes the lessons are a little hard, you know? So having your love and your presence makes all the difference. Like Reverend Harriet said, having somebody to listen to you. Care, care, care for each other. Care, care, care for the ones who need care. How caring will change the world. Our loving will change the world. Our singing has changed my world. Our caring will change the world. Our loving will change the world. Our loving will change the world.
I believe that.
Yes, me too.
That's the only thing that's going to work. The only thing.
Mhm.
It's the only thing that's going to change the world.
Yeah,
It's the only thing.
yeah.
Everything else has been tried.
Lord, everything else has been tried. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if war could get us there, we'd be past Nirvana by now.
right.
If violence could get us there, we'd be there by now.
Yes.
The only thing that's going to change the world is coming out of our head to our hearts. Because you're not going to change the world as long as you're in the head. You're going to get the same thing. But when you open your heart, and that's where we are. We've been called. We've been being called for a long time. I was at the World Peace event long time ago. John Randolph Price.
I love John Randolph Price. He was so cool.
That's right.
And his wife too.
That's right. And we believed. We all gathered at Greenwich time. And I had my kids with me down at the old Kingdom. I mean, they put another stadium up. And we connected with the people around the world. I believe that. I believe. And I think Jerry John Posky says that love brings up everything unlike itself to be healed.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the world is, all this is coming up. It can't go any further. We've stuffed all this stuff.
Yeah.
We've stuffed it. We've never had a resolution. Nobody's ever said they were sorry. I mean, we got stolen. We've never had a peace since we've been here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We've had to try to find peace, but we haven't known a moment of peace since our ancestors got stolen.
mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
so it's a lot,
Yes,
but it's time. It
yes.
is time to move, and all of these systems are there, but love, absolute love, is the only thing. I
Love
believe
makes
that.
love
I
makes
believe
a
that.
love makes a difference. I'm with you, Rev.
Yeah,
Reverend, I'm talking to Reverend Harriet G. Walden,
yeah.
who is a community activist. She's an ordained minister. She is a master facilitator of the Virtues Project. She is a powerhouse on so many levels. And if you want to know more about her and about her work, go to harrietgwalden.com. And now somebody asked about mothers for police
Oh,
accountability,
yeah,
how they could
yeah.
find about your organization.
Okay, it's mothers, SO Mothers for FOR, policeaccountability.org.
Down, okay, you got
Yes,
that?
that's it. And it has all our history there, and all the things that we've been doing, and that type of stuff. Yeah, all I can say, what I can say, Ricky, is that I find you so inspiring. I mean,
Really?
I was revelation when Nikki Harris sung that song.
Yeah. Man, I
Yeah,
love it.
no, it's not the letter for, it's FOR for police accountability because she put it up and that's not correct. So it's mothers, SO Mothers for FOR police accountability.org.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
was
know,
there. I was there when Nikki sung that song. I was there.
she's Nikki Harris, great singer. I was
Oh yeah.
listening. Here's a shout out. I was listening to this morning. I got up this morning, and my mornings are incredible, in that the way the world opens up. I mean, it opens up for folks, like for everybody, but I just notice it. The difference is that I notice it. Like some other people just go on about their business. Me, I'm going like, oh wow, that's a whole grid for the day. It tells
Right.
me everything. The intelligence just says boom, 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 boom. What I need to do today. What I need to do today. And I didn't stop to pray. Prayer for me was listening to the intelligence tell me what I needed to do.
Right.
And I wrote down everything. And you were on that list. You were on the list, but in a sweet way. You were on the list, but I had already done all the posting and stuff on my website because I've learned how to do that. Ooh wee, But everything, I put everything down there, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. The way the universe is opening up to show me what it is that I need to do. And then after I made that list, it's like, okay, now it's time to exercise, get your body together. And then I was like, but first, before I do anything, I want to see what's on B Radio. What's on the radio? Do you know about B Radio, Reverend?
No.
Okay, bradio.org.
Oh yes, I do. Yes, yes, yes. I
Well,
listened to it. I
well,
do. It was wonderful doing COVID. I mean, because you could listen and people of a certain age needed to have some stimulation.
yeah. Well, it's great. It's still good. And Marcus Huff, here's a shout out to Marcus Huffman, because I think Marcus is doing extra work in there when I'm not looking, and he's so low key about everything, but he knows how to add different pieces of music from the Be Hood Sunday devotional that we do. But anyway, what I wanted to say was that this morning there was a whole chant section that was going on and on. It was the Agape Choir. We were killing it. I mean, it was so good. It was one performance after the other. It was the morning chant. You know that one? The one that goes like, oh, E-I-A, E-I-E-I-A. Oh, E-I-A, E-I-E-I-A. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. And I was just listening to the choir. The choir was rocking, and it was one thing after the other. It was God is Enough, and all these songs. And I was having the best time listening, because I was listening to joy. I was listening to the power of love expressing in sheer joy. and that we get to still bear witness to it through the technology that recorded the performances.
Right.
And
Yeah.
some of the performances on there on B Radio, some of those performances were from Revelation. It's from we just grabbed any piece of sound we could just so that we could have it. You know, because it would be a pity for an era to pass and that there was nothing there that represented it.
That song is my Hiram song. And so I'm so glad you played it. You know, he always comes through, but that's the song that really reminds me of Hiram being free.
Oh, praise God.
You know,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's the Hiram song. When you say that, when you sing that song, I say, oh, Hiram is free.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's free.
Yes.
He's free. He's free. Oh, and there's a beautiful brother named Obi and Defo who passed on. Obi was an actor on Dawson's Creek. I never looked at Dawson's Creek, but he was a beautiful young man who used to go to Agape. And so he was a friend of Angie Shires. So she's really releasing her friend. He was just 51 years old. Beautiful actor, beautiful being. So here's if I could not do what I could not see, if I could not do what I could not see, lift up my name for what I tried to be, lift up my name for what I tried to be, and don't you worry about me, now I am alright, don't worry about me, now I am alright, that body I had has faded into the light, that body I had, let it fade into the light, 'cause the Spirit of God is all that I am now, is all that we are now. The Spirit of God is all that we are now. The Spirit of love is all that we are now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The morning chant. That's MORNING, the morning chant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the sooner we get to really appreciating this beautiful life that we have. Because let's get to these cards. Because you got to these cards. How did you come up with this?
Well, I've been a virtuous facilitator for 30 years, over 30 years. And
Tell us
we were
about the
doing-
tell us about
the Virtues Project is the project that got started by Linda and Dan Popoff and her brother John, and they compiled all of the sacred texts. They went through all the sacred texts of the world and they combined all the virtues, and they compiled them, and it started out as a parenting program with the cards, and then they put out another book, and it's all over the world. The virtues are inherent in all people. They're the characters of God, or the angels that God put in all of us. Sometimes they're in potential, and sometimes people actually know that. But what it is that once you get in touch with the virtues, or you understand that they're always in potential. They're always with us. They like the angels of God. And they always with it. And whatever card you pull is always the right card. And so we were doing facilitation classes and parenting classes. And like I say, the project is all over the world now. The Popoffs live, I think they live in one of the Solomon Islands right now. But it is all over the world. And the indigenous people really liked it because they said that the virtues reminded them of who they were before the colonizers came. And it remind them of the life that they had.
That's right.
And so that's one of the beauty of the virtues is that it is one of the best programs, best ideas of how to get people to come to consciousness right away. I
Yes.
don't care what's going on. I've had places where people was lots of stuff was going on with police and other things, and we bring out the virtues cards, and we've had healing circles in Seattle for many years. But this particular way that the virtues that you have right now, this project was created last year, and we were doing healing circles, and one of my sons, asked me, why don't I think about making some cards expressing the virtues the way that I see them. His name is Secunda Salisbury, and it took a while to convince him.
What is his name?
His name is Chikundi Salisbury.
Chikandi.
Yeah, and it means God is above from Igbo. I mean, so yeah, he was born in California Hospital there in Los Angeles.
Raised in the Unity Church.
Oh yeah, and then another young man, Rico Brown, worked with us in our in the Walden's Harriett Walden's LLC that we work together, and
Mm-hmm.
HD Walden LLC. So they kept. I wanted to have integrity with the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be in alignment with the founders, and so one of the things that they convinced me on is that I'm using the cards high integrity because that's what I want to walk with.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just be how the virtues speak to me. So each card is how the virtue speaks to me directly and
Mm-hmm.
how I use them in the world and what it means to me. And then on the back of it, it's an affirmation, and then there's a QR code. This is one of the sweetest projects that I've had. It's
Yeah.
this project right here
Yeah. You
because it
enjoy it.
brings joy.
Yeah.
It
And
absolutely it gets you out of your head into your heart immediately.
yes, it
And
does.
that's the power of the virtues. I mean, and this is one of the healing tools of the world. It's not the only one because Creator got many ideas and many good things going on, but it's one of them that I believe that can heal people. I believe that I'm working with people who are, people without homes. I believe a lot of times that there's deep sorrow. I believe these kind of cards can help move that sorrow and that despair so that they can move on and get a place to, get a new life. And I think the cards can help with that. Also, it helps heal your own soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on Sunday, uh, I was at a festival called the Waves and Curls Festival, and the Be Hood Sunday devotional took place out in the park last Sunday, and there were healers there. There were sound baths, and there was yoga. There was massage, and then there was a woman that had cards. She had a deck, and she would go around and read to different people. And I've seen so much in my time. I can be jaded in places sometimes and go like, oh, she's going around reading to people, and everybody loved her spending time with them. And she'd pick out a card and go like, this is for you. This is the card for you. And she'd read what was on the card, and they would accept for themselves. And then she'd go to the next person. And that was something that was very special for the people. They loved it. And they really would have loved your cards. So today I pulled excellence.
Oh, yes. Excellence
That's
is expected here.
Yes,
Yes.
excellence. Excellence. Hey, no Kwade. I got it. This is my grandson. he stole my face. Excellent is giving your utmost, empowering you to engage with the world. It boosts self-esteem, demonstrating your capability to accomplish tasks. Excellence is a personal commitment carried with you, inspiring perseverance and self-worth. And the affirmation, so she has the affirmation on the back. The front, see, is excellence, is the writing. See that? See how they're pretty, it's beautiful blue? And on the back, the affirmation says, I embrace the pursuit of excellence, knowing it fuels my self-esteem and enriches every endeavor. I embrace the pursuit of excellence. Actually, hey, that's my life is about excellence. It's just about revealing excellence.
Yes.
And in order to reveal excellence, you got to be interested in it. You gotta,
Right.
you gotta, you gotta spend some time with God to see, to be touched by his her excellence. See what God got to say to you. But this is beautiful. So where can they find you? Where can they find these?
Virtueshealing.com.
Everybody get that?
Yeah, virtueshealing.com. Yeah.
You get that, Taliba? Because Taliba does. We have Taliba Young. She reads toes.
Mm-hmm.
She can look at your toes and tell you a lot of stuff. She's very insightful. We got some bad people on this thread tonight. Let me just say thank you, everybody, for joining us. Kathy O is back in the house. Susan Ray. Say Susan Ray King, our loving will change the world. Like Reverend Harriet said, it's the only thing that ever has. The only thing that really has changed the world for good is love.
Yeah.
It's deep because, so many great teachers have walked the planet and said it. But,
Right.
I think that the reasons why Jesus' name is so sweet to me is because black people saying Jesus so sweet. When they go like, Jesus, it's just like you go like, okay. And Jesus is love. And Jesus's message was just to love one another.
That's right.
And you can never say his name. You don't have to say it if you're not moved to, but I'm here to tell you that a great teacher walked amongst us who
That's
said,
right.
love one another.
Love one another.
Just love one another. It's our loving that makes the difference. And this morning, listening to that B radio, I was reminded of how much the choir members loved each other.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The deep love they had for each other. And they're still seeing about each other. Here's a shout out to Reverend Gene Hagan and John Hagan, who had been in the Agape choir for many years. They were ministers that came out of Agape, and they're moving to Louisville, Kentucky, and I went over to help them pack. They needed some help, and I went over to help them pack up. And so when you sit with people and you can spend the time, isn't it beautiful to be able to do that, Reverend?
Yes. Yes, it is.
To just
It really is.
be there
Yeah.
for each other. It's like, let's just take care of each other, make sure we're good. To make sure we're good. And to thank you, Sue. I have Sue Lingus. Sue,
Can I ask Sue to put police in the email in the address? She has police. It has mothers for accountability, but it should be mothers for police accountability. That's what we're accountable for.
Mothers for she's got it. There it is. She's got
there
it.
it is. All right. Yeah.
She got it. Mothers for
And now we're accountable for love, and that's what you bring, Rickie. I mean, I tell you, you bring accountability for love.
Yes.
And I love it.
Thank you.
I thank you for that. I really do.
Hey, I thank you for gracing our show tonight. Your presence is amazing. Can you come back some other time?
Of course. I mean, I've been to Revelations twice, and I'd like to come and see you as I get myself more acclimated to travel again. So yes.
Yeah, you got to come to the B-Hood, baby.
Yeah, but no, that's where I'm gonna come to. I won't stay on the fence when I come to LA. Okay.
oh, something that you want to be interested in, and this is everybody on the thread, is the spring revival. The spring revival. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of the spring revival at Lake Junaluska in the Blue Ridge Mountains is amazing. You'd love it, Reverend Harriet. If you like Revelation, you absolutely would love this, because the only difference is that the music is carrying it. It's not just like concerts all day. It's not that, but it's learning. But music is a very powerful base for the learning. Music is a powerful base, and if you're there, oh my God, we're going to have a good time. So just make plans to come to Asheville, and we'll get you up the hill. We'll get you up the mountain. Me and Sue, we'll get you up the mountain. And Marion came. I mean, a lot of people. Taliba was there last year. She helped us get students up the mountain, all the way from South Carolina. They came. Darren, I hope you and Marianne are coming this year. You know, Susan Ray King, y'all need to make plans to come up to the revival. Kathy O was there with her husband Dan, and
I
we
love
had
North Carolina. My kids went to school in North Carolina. All of them did. So yeah, they went there. Elizabeth City State.
where
So
did they
yeah, I
go?
love
Where they go?
Elizabeth City State.
Oh, okay, Elizabeth City State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you were saying something about Mary McLeod Bethune earlier when you were giving early, way back
Oh
in the.
yeah, because I was raised in Florida, and she was the founder of Bethune Cookman College, and now it's a university. So yeah,
Did you
but
know her?
also
Did
she
you meet
no
her?
no no she had already passed on when I was born. I mean before I born. So I'm a
Yeah.
1946 baby. Any 46 baby?
You're just a little whippersnapper.
I am. I love being a 1946 baby because that was the end of the war, and the guys came home. That was the war to end all wars. It's
Yeah.
going to be a chicken in every pot, a
Yeah.
car in every garage,
Yeah.
and they made lots of babies, and I'm one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
And they kept making them in 1951. That's when I came. So I'll be 73 this year, October 10th. So mark
That's
your
my
mark your
granddaughter's
calendars.
birthday. My second granddaughter, Alma Salisbury. She's a 1010.
Hey,
I got a
1010.
5-5. I got a 1-1. I got a 1-1, a 5-5, and a 10-10. So you and Alma share a birthday together.
That sounds like a new song. 10 10 5 5 1 1. Wait. So you have a birthday coming up. When's your birthday? Is it the
The
10th?
10th. The 10th.
And Lynn Beale is the 10th, right?
The ninth.
The 9th.
Stacy is the 10th.
Stacy Amon. Okay. Yeldell.
John Caesar's coming up. I think
John-
he's the 16th.
All right. Okay. So we have incredible Virgos in the house, and hey,
I'm the mother of two of them. I got one. Chickenda Salisbury is the 15th, and Tundi Salisbury is the 17th. So I
yeah.
got two Virgos plus a whole other Virgos. And I want to
When's
give a shout out to all my grandkids too. So yeah.
when's your birthday?
Oh, I started the year off on January 4th. I did until my youngest grandson. He's a 1-1. But I'm January 4th. One quick story, and I'll be done here. You mentioned you were talking about Hiram. Hiram, January 2005, he was in the hospital, and the nurse said, "Your son said he's going to pass over. He's going to leave." And I said, "Well, he never told me he was going away." I went to him and I said, "Hiram, and I sent him a telepathic message. I said, "Son, the nurse said you're going to leave. You want to go on, so Mama going to release you." I said, "You won't be here to give me a glass of water when I'm 85. I said, "But do me a favor. I love my birthday, January 4th. I said, "So if you're going to go, son, please don't go on my birthday." So he died the next day, January 6th. So 2005. He was obedient, though.
I'm not gonna hold that against you. You say don't die on my birthday.
I love my birthday. I mean, as an only child, I love birthdays. I don't
I
care
do
about
too.
numbers. I love birthdays.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Well,
So anyway.
my mom's birthday was January 8th. And
Oh,
she was
bless
a
her
Capricorn.
heart.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. She
Capricorn too.
She
Yeah.
was wonderful. So as we
Listen, you
close out,
took care of your mother so well, Ricky. You took care of your mother. I want to honor you for the way that you cared for your mother.
oh, thank
It
you.
was so beautiful the way that you cared for Mama Byars. Okay,
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
and I just saw the love that you sing about. You gave to your mother, and it's so beautiful in this day and age to see
Oh.
that kind of care. You just care, and then everybody loved her because you loved her so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they took such good care of her. It's like once she made that trip. You know how you saying you want to see if you can want to travel. After not traveling, you got to get ready to travel again. But I want you to come to the Blue Ridge Mountains. You're gonna
I
love it.
will. Yeah,
But when my mother went to Egypt, and when she went, I'm thinking like she ain't strong enough to go to no Egypt. She went to Egypt, and I had to be kind of looking out for her to make sure she was good, right? And I came out and I was like, has anybody seen my mother? And I just knew she would be sitting down somewhere resting. They were like, Mama Byars? Yeah, she on a camel. She's going over there near the pyramid. They had adopted her and just made sure she was good. And I just was so thankful. That was a situation where, I
yes,
took care of my mother, but the community took care of me.
yes.
And if I can impart anything as we close is to Let us love each other.
Yes.
Love one another.
Love one another.
Our loving will change the world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you,
before
Rickie.
we I'd like to show those pictures from Sunday.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. This is from the Waves and Curls Festival, and it was beautiful out there. That was Mageisha. She's going to be with us on the sometime this month. She's going to be playing with us at Aziz's gallery in Lamert Park this Sunday. That's where we're going to be all the month of September. The rest of September on Sundays, we will be there. The devotional begins at 11:30, and all are invited to come. Yeah, that was beautiful. We had a good time. Did you have the one of the little king playing the drums? See, that was so cute. Yeah. Oh wow, that's Jess and her mother, and that's Baba E. And he always challenges me with learning, and that's our brother Mikael wearing that hat. Oh, I got to pay for that hat. And there's Georgia and Janice Marie. All B-Hood is Maxine. That's Chef Lori. Tony Novell's back there. Jamone is over there. Yeah, we had a great time. We had a good time. That's Brother Noor, who was the Kundalini teacher. Denise Davison, who's on the thread, would know him, I'm sure. And we had the sound baths and healing. It was just wonderful. Hey, wherever you are, just know that God is there. That God is there, and God and only God will see you through. And let God see you through, because God is love. And love, our loving will change the world. Thank you, Reverend Harriet, for being with me tonight.
Thank you so much. I love it with you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, everybody who came on the thread tonight. So give me the closing words, Reverend Harriet.
Oh, the closing word is that all hearts belong to God.
Hey.
All hearts. And it keeps out of judgment. All hearts belong to God. All hearts.
Said by the sock hop. All hearts belong to God. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say,